Hey guys, before we get into today's video, I know this is a bit of a long one. Make sure you do go ahead and stick through this entire video because I go over a lot of information and some clarifications from my sources. Anyways, enjoy the video. Well, Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered has finally released on PC and Xbox 30 days after it obviously released on PlayStation 4. And just as many others than I had predicted, there is a ton of leftover stuff within the files of the game for multiplayer as well as Spec Ops. Now before we get into the leaked information from the files of the game, we have our very first quote-unquote leaked image of Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer Remastered of Rust. This was posted by Game Cheat over on Twitter. There's a pretty simple explanation as to how he got this image, however. He simply no-clipped on the final mission endgame, in which obviously Captain Price and Shepard fight, and then you obviously kill Shepard. Because the multiplayer map Rust was actually based off of that campaign mission, you can even see it in the background of the endgame map, so he simply no-clipped to go ahead and get that image. I think what this shows you guys is how pretty much all of the assets for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer already exist in the campaign version of the game, because most of the multiplayer maps were based off of campaign missions and all the assets are pretty much already there. Even with Spec Ops, most of those missions were based off of the campaign as well. A lot of this stuff that I'm about to show you guys is from the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost over on Twitter, but there are some other sources for this information as well. The game is actually 65 gigabytes on PC, so obviously they accidentally left in a bunch of the multiplayer stuff that they were working on within the files of the game, even though it isn't out yet, because that is way too large for just a campaign. But yeah, within the files of Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, there is a bunch of stuff referencing continue to multiplayer, referencing custom classes for multiplayer, domination flags, multiplayer leaderboards, and XP progression. There's even reference to a dark matter camo and also a diamond camo, and there are references to prestiges and a bunch more stuff. Within the files, a multiplayer exe application file has also been found, and this is not something that is left over from a previous game. It's an entirely new file, confirming that yes, multiplayer 100% existed at one point in time in Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Now, there are a bunch of references to different multiplayer modes, such as Team Deathmatch. There's references to Search and Destroy, and a bunch of other modes as well. There's even reference to different weapons and attachments, and also different perks such as Stopping Power, Juggernaut, and also Sleight of Hand, etc, etc. Furthermore, there is also a reference to a Season Pass, and also a gold camo, and there is a reference to a nuke kill streak, and there are a bunch of references to different emblems and stuff like that. But overall, it doesn't really matter what exactly is within the files of the game, because a lot of this stuff we expected to be found anyways. But as I was saying, there are camos like gold, diamond, and dark matter reference that were not within the original game. There was never a season pass in Modern Warfare 2 either. So yeah, that is pretty much solid evidence that multiplayer was at least in the works for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, but unfortunately it hasn't released just yet. Obviously, Activision did release a statement stating that they have no current plans to release Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer because they fear that it's going to split up the player base between those who play Modern Warfare 2019, the reboot, and they worry that if they drop Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer, that the community is going to be a bit divided between those two games. However, the Call of Duty community is in a really healthy position right now, probably more healthy than it has been in years upon years. Call of Duty has been dwindling for years now, but Modern Warfare has definitely rekindled a lot of people's hype for Call of Duty, and there are a lot of people playing Warzone, especially because it is free to play. Call of Duty is back to being on top, and I definitely think that Modern Warfare and also Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer could coexist, and they could both have really healthy player bases, especially because everyone is at home right now. During isolation, there would be an immense amount of people who would be interested in a Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer. So I don't think Activision's statement is exactly true. Now, this is what I had heard from one of my sources recently. Apparently, and I said this within another video, the reason as to why Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer hasn't released yet is because apparently they've changed a lot of things within the game from the original, because obviously Modern Warfare 2 was really unbalanced, but that is what a lot of people liked back in the day. When they reminisce about all of the crazy things that went on in the game, it wouldn't really work in today's gaming world with all of the new players. I reckon a lot of the new players who didn't play the original wouldn't like it, but all of the OG players would. And specifically, one of my sources said that a lot was changed from the game, and they don't think those old players who played the original will like it as much anymore. And that is one of the reasons why it is not releasing yet. But Activision are correct in the statement with they don't want to split up the player base, because from the impression that I get, if they've changed the game so much so that the OG players will not like it, it must mean that the game is catering more towards, modern day Call of Duty players, people who may have only picked up the game on current generation consoles. Maybe they've been playing since Black Ops 3 or something like that, which makes it sound like maybe they've made it more similar to Modern Warfare 2019, and maybe that is what they mean by they don't want to split up the player base, because maybe the game is more similar to Modern Warfare 2019. So what is the point in them releasing a Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer if it's not like the original? So it's not going to be catering to the original fan base, and it's instead going to be catering to the new Call of Duty players who already have Modern Warfare to play, if that's your forte. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Modern Warfare's multiplayer. I do really like Warzone, but multiplayer just doesn't gel well with me. However, I can appreciate that the game is widely successful, even though it has things like skill-based matchmaking in and stuff like that. We do not have the statistics that Infinity Ward and Activision have available. It's very clear that the average player time has gone massively up by them introducing skill-based matchmaking, because new players are going to play it for longer and they're going to stick around on the game for longer instead of just getting wrecked by people who have been playing Call of Duty for 10 plus years now. So even though it makes the game worse for me, I definitely do believe that it has created a more healthy player base. As sad as it is, we are not the majority. The majority of people playing Modern Warfare, unfortunately, are casual fans. However, I really wonder if that is going to change since everyone's at home now. I think there's going to definitely be a massive spike in average playtime. But another reason as to why it hasn't released yet is because obviously Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was supposed to release campaign only in 2018, but it was pushed back and it was only just released in 2020 because of the Dallas shootings. It was going to release in spring of 2018, but they didn't want to spur controversy with the No Russian mission, in which a bunch of innocent civilians are gunned down in an airport. So they pushed back the release date to a time that they thought would be more appropriate, which makes sense for them to release the campaign now, because obviously everyone is at home. That's going to get the maximum amount of people playing it. But after it was pushed back, they did begin to work on the multiplayer as well, and I've heard that it's pretty much finished, as in the maps are all done and stuff like that, but I don't think it is finished in terms of, balancing and stuff like that and having the systems in place, because obviously back when they started working on Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer, that was when Call of Duty still had supply drops, and obviously with Modern Warfare, supply drops are no longer a thing, and all Call of Duties moving forward are not going to have supply drops. So I'd imagine they started working on some sort of microtransaction system with supply drops and DLC weapons for Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer Remastered, similar to what we saw within the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered. But obviously now that they're no longer doing supply drops, they would have to change that system to a battle pass system, for example. But I think another big reason as to why Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer Remastered has not released yet is because obviously there is a battle pass in Modern Warfare 2019, the reboot, and if they have another battle pass in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer Remastered, then it means that there's going to be two battle passes running simultaneously in two different Call of Duty games at once, and I think that Activision might think that that is asking too much from the player base to think that the community are going to buy both battle passes, because already a lot of the stuff is really overpriced in Modern Warfare. All of the bundles are $20 or more, and we know that Modern Warfare's microtransactions are selling really well, so I guess Activision are probably worried that if they released a Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer, then maybe it might take a big portion of the player base away from Modern Warfare that are spending microtransactions on that game, and they might not spend as much money on microtransactions in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer Remastered, especially because I'd imagine they don't have the systems fully sorted out yet, because as we were saying, they probably don't want to have, an exact system as Modern Warfare 2019, especially with it being a remaster. They don't want to completely tarnish the game, so I don't know what they would do in terms of microtransactions so that it doesn't deter from the original game, but also isn't too similar to Modern Warfare's microtransaction system so that, you know, it's just asking too much from the community to be willing to spend money on both games. So what is going on and what are my sources saying? Well, here is the conflicting thing, and I do apologize that I brought this up as the final point within this video, but basically right now I have two different sources saying conflicting information, and they're basically arguing with each other. So I honestly do not know what is going on with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer, because as I was saying, it has been pretty much finished for quite some time, but recently one of my sources heard around less than a week after Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered release, so you know, 3.5 weeks or so ago, they had actually seen Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered with their own eyes in testing. This was already after lockdown had begun and a lot of the developers and QA testers were working from home, but there were at the time a small amount of people going in. I need to be careful with my wording so that obviously the source doesn't get found out, but basically all I'm going to say is that they had seen multiplayer being tested on with their own eyes, and this was after the release of the campaign, and this was also after the statement from Activision in which they stated that they had no current plans to release Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered. However, since it was in testing, well, obviously it must have meant that they still were considering it. Maybe they didn't know when they were going to release it, but if it was still in testing, it must mean that they're still making balancing changes and they're still somewhat working on the game. But I now have another source that is telling me that Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered is fully cancelled and it's had the nail in the coffin and it's not releasing at all. However, the source that had actually seen it with their own eyes fairly recently, he is saying that it is still coming, but he doesn't think it's going to come until next year. So basically, I have two sources conflicting with each other, and I honestly don't know what's going on. All I'm going to say, if one of these sources is true and it is fully cancelled, that's going to be extremely disappointing, because obviously the developers who worked on multiplayer for this remaster spent a lot of time on it and stuff like that, and obviously they won't want to have all of their time wasted, and obviously a lot of resources and money will have gone into it as well, and that's just all going to have been wasted, which is why, in my own personal opinion, I am still leaning towards the fact that I think it is going to release at some point. Obviously, this is just a matter of opinion, and I'm just basing my opinion off of what my sources are telling me, but it definitely is confusing when I have two different sources telling me conflicting things. I would say, in my own personal opinion, I feel like multiplayer is going to release, and I'm about 70% confident with that, and about 30% of me thinks it's never going to come out. Let me know your opinions down in the comment section down below. Now, fairly recently, I was obviously contacted by someone that showed me this clip that I'll play for you guys right now, speaking to Activision support.
I checked and it looks like we've not yet released the plans.
Oh, okay. And one last question: will you guys be having multiplayer?
Okay, so this whole call is Modern Warfare 2.
Yes, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered. Will you guys be releasing it in the future?
Yeah.
Okay, and will it have multiplayer?
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
So.
What do you mean you believe?
Well, I mean, I don't have all the information. I'm not I'm not the CEO.
No. Yeah, I understand, but I'm saying because. Yeah, but you understand? I'm not really sure exactly who said it. I think it was Activision that said that there would be campaign only.
No, a leaker said that.
Or actually no, maybe it was a leaker that said it. I'm not really sure, but all I know is, I mean, if there's no multiplayer, like would you buy it if there was no multiplayer? I know you're not CEO, but I know you have a little bit of power to to talk to CEO. So if you can get this message across, multiplayer is needed, or nobody will be buying that video game. and I know you understand completely that multiplayer is needed. You understand?
Yeah, I think that you shouldn't listen to what people are saying online and just wait for the official release.
That's exactly what I've been trying to tell my friends, but they're a little anxious, and it's getting a little out of hand. So I really just wanted to call and make sure, because I mean I've been trying to tell them that every game has multiplayer. Why would they release with no multiplayer? But they're getting a little scared,
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, I feel like your friends are jumping to conclusions
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, you had a fantastic day.
And basically, Activision support had told them, and this was back in 2018, which was the original release date for Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, that multiplayer was going to be coming as well. But obviously, a lot of different support agents, they don't know everything. They often spread incorrect information, so we shouldn't take that as being 100% certain. And also, a YouTuber known as Skite, which I will leave a link to his video down in this video's description, recently spoke to various different game stores online, and for some weird reason they had apparently heard some information that multiplayer was going to be releasing for the game this year, and they even mentioned a Modern Warfare Remastered trilogy / collection releasing this year, which would obviously include Modern Warfare 3. And well, that doesn't really make much sense. I don't know how it could release this year, to be honest. I get that everyone is in lockdown right now, it would be a good time to release it, but we have Call of Duty 2020 releasing this year, or at least it is planned unless it gets delayed due to the coronavirus. And if it gets delayed, then maybe that could be a good time for them to release it. But to be fair, how on earth would these game stores know this information? Usually they don't get information like this. It is very rare for them to hear inside information. So you can read all the messages on screen right now from his video, but I'm not really sure if I believe it, to be honest. It is definitely questionable. It just seems really odd to me. Now, within Activision Statement, they did say that they are planning to release more remastered maps from Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 into Modern Warfare 2019, so I guess that is going to be them making up for Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer not releasing. And I have heard that there is planned to be a Modern Warfare 2 playlist coming to Modern Warfare sometime during the summer, so I guess that's going to be good, but it basically means that Modern Warfare 2019 is becoming a best of Modern Warfare game, because we seem to be getting a lot more remastered maps than brand new maps, which I guess isn't a bad thing, because a lot of people aren't a big fan of the maps in Modern Warfare, but we all know they're going to make unnecessary changes to the maps and have safe spaces and doors, so I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. Obviously, there are literally a bunch of maps. I think there's something like 40 within the files of the game that have been getting worked on, so I honestly don't know when all of this stuff is going to release, because there is so much in the files of the game, it is ridiculous. So basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to be taking a lot of maps that they were working on for Modern Warfare 2 Multiplayer Remastered, and they're going to release them in Modern Warfare instead. Now, I had heard that this playlist is apparently going to have changes to it, such as the original minimap, and also even potentially having Modern Warfare 2 perks. Apparently they've also been testing having these maps without having doors, but yeah, right now obviously it's not ready for release, and the playlist is still in testing, so none of these options are final, but they want to make some good changes to it because they know how badly people want Modern Warfare 2 Remastered multiplayer. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not for the latest and greatest Modern Warfare news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.